So welcome back to the channel. I'm kind of experimenting with lights because it seems like if I have these lights on that it kind of makes me look like an angel with a big glow over my head. So today we're going to talk about some specialty stuff that we carry here at the shop. You don't necessarily need it, but it's just something I can show you that we have and that is available out there if you decide you want to go this route. Alright, so welcome back for another episode of Tool Talk, and today we're going to be talking about tap and dies for pipe. Now, why would we even encounter pipe? Alright, so our shop, if you don't already know, we do a lot of fabricating too, and we also create. Instead of buying stuff, we can build it with welders and pipe and what have you. And we also do it as a service to the community that maybe needs a short piece of pipe threaded. They've got it cut. So what I have here is two different sets. You've got kind of like the Big Bertha, and she goes all the way up to 2-inch. That she'll do a 2-inch pipe outside diameter, and it's got its own handles. You screw them together. You've got 3 of them, so you've got plenty of torque. Let me just show you real quick what the end result is going to look like. Sometimes it's better just to show you than it is to try to tell you. That way you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever handled pipe and trying to thread it. I used to do this a lot in the mines, a lot. But we had, at that time, this threads in, by the way. We had the one that was basically automatic. You just drop this in, whatever die you wanted, and you turn the lever on. It was foot fed, and it was a electric motor that spun the pipe around this. Alright, so you got your pipe and your extensions on, and let's say we wanted to do 1-inch pipe outside diameter, because that's what you're going to do, is 1 inch. So you set it in, and that locks it in just like that. And then you put the pipe in this direction. And this is manual labor. You got to have some way to hold that pipe, whether it be a vise or what have you. And this will thread the outside of the pipe. If you simply pull that, the whole thing will pop right out. So that if you go to the real big ones and you don't need that adapter, you can go direct with the great big ones. And this just drops in, locks in, so now you're ready for the 2-inch, and it would come in from this direction. We'll put the adapter back in here so we don't lose it. Again, these are what I deem specialty tools that I've already started talking to and kind of telling you what we're going to start doing. Some of the stuff you'll never use. But hopefully you find it interesting of what's out there like I do. I'm a tool guy. But some of these specialty tools you might go, aha, I've got an application for just that, right? And that's the deal with showing you these specialty tools. Is what's out there on the market, right? But this set goes from 3/8 outside diameter all the way up to 2. And they even give you like a itty bitty oil can so that you want to keep oil on the threads as it's cutting. Alright, this may be more up your alley. This is our, what I call, is a portable set that we'll drag out onto working on a job site or whatever. And this set here will go from 1/2 inch right up to inch. And most of that stuff, the 1/2 inch to inch, is what you're going to encounter. Let's say if you're working in the house, or if you're building, something in the shop with water line, because your 1/2 inch and your 1 inch and your 3/4 inch pipe are a pretty common thing. And this here we can take, throw in the truck quick. I mean, we can take this girl, but for anything up to 1 inch, you don't need anything bigger. But again, we do fabricating. And a lot of times we're taking, and as I said in the last video, this morning's video on this bike holder to use for trimmers. If I can figure out how to build it, with using pipe, take and thread the pipe so that, and get that back in here before we lose it. And then, getting it the way I want it. And then I'll take the Auto Art, the Hobart 110 wire feed, and I can either weld it right in place so that it can't ever come apart, or I can leave it that way so that I can take it apart when I'm not using it. So I was talking with Claude about having some type of a system where you have like 2 bolts that would bolt to this table, but you could undo the nuts, and when you're not using it, take it off and put your pipe in one location, for just that job purpose. Alright, so these are for the outside of pipe. What else could there be, right? Alright, so this is a pipe depth tap and die set. If I can get it open. And these do just the opposite. Instead of trying to thread the outside, tap it, these actually will thread the inside of the pipe. And you may run into something where you want to have it so you can thread in. And an example would be, instead of going and buying a 1/4 inch or 1/4 inch, it does go down to 1/4 inch, doesn't it? No, it goes down to 1/8 and 1/4 stuff. So you could make spacers out of it, or you can make adapters by using this. You can thread it so that you can put a different size pipe on it to reduce. There's a lot of applications that we use these for. And this goes all the way up to 1.25 inches. So that's a pretty good sized piece of pipe to cut it. Again, you probably will never need these or even want these, but they're neat, right? Alright, so that's the deal with the pipe threading machines, or pipe threading, you're the machine, the bulk. They do make them, like I said, where you put the pipe in and the actual threading part of it, the tap side stays stationary and it turns the pipe. But I've seen others that held the pipe stationary and the die went around this way, you know, cutting the threads. And it had, that's the one we had at the mines, and it had an oiler you could put right on it so that it was constantly getting oil as it was cutting. But that's that on this. I just wanted to show you guys, and some of you guys may be using this, you know, even when it comes to creating cheetah bars. Hey, this is handy. Alright, so the other thing I wanted to discuss a little bit is defective tools. It's not worth getting hurt over a bad tool. I was going through some of our old tools that were still on a charger back there and deeming whether do we keep or do we throw away. This is a lithium 20 volt Black & Decker, and I think I bought this at Walmart, and it came with a charger. But the problem I saw, and maybe it won't do it now, but when I put the battery in and I give it forward or reverse, she started to smoke it. Well, she don't want to do it now, but before it was throwing sparks and smoke out of here. So I was debating whether to keep it. If in doubt, folks, it's not worth it. You know, these things don't have a lifetime guarantee unless you're dealing with Snap-on. But I guess this one come out of its fix, so I'll go ahead and I'll plug this charger in over here. To show you another handy dandy little tool. This is a Black & Decker, and you can take and turn the light on so you can see your workplace, and this can do this way, but it takes the adapter and you can go forward or reverse. And this is handy for around the house or on small stuff. You know, she doesn't have the torque that your bigger stuff does, but sometimes you don't need the torque, just something to spin them off and spin them back on, especially if you're taking and putting things together. So we'll add that to our handy dandy tools. Gotta get another carrier for all the rest of them. Alright, one last thing I wanted to talk about today, because I think a lot of people aren't doing it. Now, I don't care whether you're grinding or you're sharpening chains with the Oregon chain sharpener, the electric one, or you're around something that's going to cause a lot of dust. We have here, and you can get different cartridges for it, but you want to make sure it's a good seal and comes right up over your head. Now, we had these on our hips similar to this that were filled with charcoal in case there was a fire underground, that we could pop it out and it would seal tight to our face so that no smoke could get in, and the smoke going through would be filtered through the charcoal and it could save your life. This here is set up basically for dust. They do have different cartridges for different applications. If you want to paint with it, there's a different filter that goes on this unit. But for if you want to keep your lungs healthy, You need to be using this when you're grinding and using the chainsaw sharpener or anything else that's going to create a lot of dust. You guys that are woodworking, you already know that you probably have a set of these, couple of them laying around that you use when you're sanding and that stuff, so that it doesn't fill your lungs. So hopefully that's kind of giving you some more stuff to take a look at today. Again, I'm going to try doing some specialty things. You know, some shops probably don't even have one of these. If you need to get your own personal protective equipment, do it. Here, I supply it. These for tap and dies for pipe. You know, most of you probably will never use it, but at least now you know that it's out there and available if you decide that you want to get into it. So on that note, we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. And put in the comments if you have any questions on any of this, because I have a tendency to assume that you know a certain amount of information. And I want to have everybody have a great time on the channel while you're here watching our videos. Alright guys.